advantages of regulating the use of cell phones from BOSOM Group. My name is Pascal. The overview of advantages are the increased highway safety, reduced premium cost, and finally I'll be covering conclusions. Here you can see the image of the United States. The dark pink color, they have ban on all drivers, whereas the green color, they don't have ban on any drivers at all, while the green color has a partial ban on drivers. Increased highway safety. Cell phone usage is a huge distraction these days. People do more than just talking on cell phones, like adjusting radio, talking to the passenger next to them, turning air conditioner on, and nodding off while driving. They do not understand that while doing this can take some time, but it takes only a fraction of a second to get into an accident or come across someone. Statistics show that 1.5% of drivers are being distracted by using cell phones these days. Even the use of cell phone is not the main distraction, it is the main concern to keep in mind. If drivers limit the use of cell phones while driving, then the safety of highway can be increased. Using cell phones also causes great amount of traffic jams these days. It causes 26,000 deaths and 330,000 injuries in the United States every year because of traffic jams. Drivers who talk on phone are 80% slower to react to brake lights, and they also carry 12% greater following distance. It takes them 17% longer to get back to the speed they lost, which frustrates everyone. Even using the hands-free device, it distracts other drivers as well because their main attention is on the conversation they are talking to rather than on what's ahead of them. More than 1 million US drivers are talking on phone these days. Among them, 67% admitted they're using cell phones while driving. So limiting the use of cell phones while driving can increase the safety of highway and also the traffic jams. Here you can see the types of distractions. Among them, it's the adjusting the radio, which is approximately 12 or 13%, and moving objects and vehicles about 2 or 3%. And as you can see, the using or dialing the cell phone is approximately 1%. The reduced insurance premiums. Increased accidents has caused a significant increase in premiums these days. In order to reduce the premium cost, the distraction that is associated with using cell phones should be eliminated. How insurance companies calculate the insurance premium cost. Applicant is placed in a group, and it depends on how much money and how many claims the insurance company will have to pay. Then the insurance company will look at the applicant's driving history, examples like accidents and how many tickets they have received. Accidents and violations can affect the rates for 3 years, but some companies do go back 5 years. Therefore, fewer accidents will reduce the premium cost. Highway safety can be increased by less distractions of using cell phones while driving. Less accidents will cause lower premium costs, so therefore drivers will be hesitant to take the cell phone out and they will fear of getting penalized or paying a fine. And now I'll be introducing Patrick. He will cover the disadvantages of the BOSOM Group.
Thank you, BOSOM. My name is Pat Brennan. I'll be doing the disadvantages of regulating the use of cell phones. For the introduction, as you've heard, cell phone technology is increasing at an accelerated rate. They have gone from simple devices that can make and send and receive a phone call to devices that are able and capable of a multitude of different tasks. With such increase in functionality and in use, it's no surprise that cell phones have found their way into the driver's seat. And of course, in correlation, accidents have been increased due to cell phone use. Thinking now, excuse me, I stopped the wrong way. Knowing that cell phone use while driving causes an increase in accidents, it's safe to assume that banning cell phone use while driving would reduce accidents and reduce the costs associated with those accidents. Unfortunately, research has shown otherwise. According to current research, it has shown that not only do cell phone bans not reduce accidents, it is shown to increase accidents in some states. It has been shown to be extremely cost ineffective. It is shown to have a loss of community benefits as well. And at the end, we're going to go ahead and summarize all of this for everyone. All right. A Highway Loss Data Institute conducted two studies. And the very first study, they queried 4 states and they took data collection for the before and after cell phone bans took place. They also collected data for the surrounding jurisdictions without any cell phone legislation in place. What they found at the end of the study was that the numbers of accidents occurring before and after the ban for the 4 states was that the accident rates did not reduce. And for the surrounding jurisdictions, the accident rates, the range of accidents did not dramatically differ from historical records. The second study was done a few months later for 4 different states. Once again, for all 4 states, it was found that the accident rates were not reduced. And the sick twist was actually found that the accident rates during some months actually increased due to cellular phone use, due to banning cellular phones. Adrian Lund is the president of the Highway Data Loss Institute, and he's quoted as saying that 3 out of the 4 states actually increased, and it is proven that for all 4 states, the banning did not do anything to help reduce the rates. It has been found by a Harvard study that the net cost to save a life associated with cell phone related fatalities is approximately $700,000. They compared this to similar programs and they found that the results were very minimal compared to the costs associated with saving the lives. It was also a Cato Institute found in 2000 that the annual economic welfare loss would be around $20 billion annually lost in revenue for people not being able to use their cell phones while driving. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some accident numbers here to help put this into perspective of what we're looking at. We have some cell phone related accidents to injuries and fatalities, and then we also have the alcohol related injuries and fatalities. As you can see, the cell phone related fatalities are extremely minimal compared to the overall. There are approximately 6 million accidents a year that take place. We'll go ahead and narrow this down to 800,000 for the sake of the chart. There's approximately 2,600 fatalities every single year related with cell phone use, compared to alcohol, which is approximately 26,000. So there's a nice little gap there. And then with injuries, we have approximately 300,000 related to cell phone use and approximately 700,000 related to alcohol use. So the numbers are very minimum and the cost just is not worth it because of how few numbers are associated with it. We also have the loss of community benefits associated with cell phone. A Harvard study has found that being able to use cell phones while driving has significantly decreased accident response times. Individuals are capable of calling and notifying emergency response units in very fast time to get them to the accident scene. It's also found that with the use of cell phones, they're able to improve the knowledge for emergency response teams. They're able to notify them of what's actually taking place, what is going on, and what services may be needed to help out these individuals. And last but not least, of course, is being able to contact emergency services altogether. To summarize, these reports have found that unfortunately cell phone legislation does not reduce accidents, and in some cases it's actually been found to increase accidents for some states. It has been found that cell phone legislation is not cost effective. The cost to actually save an individual life compared to other programs is completely and extremely disproportionate to other results, and the personal and social benefits far outweigh the risk involved with using a cell phone. That will conclude the disadvantages, and I now hand you off to Efi for our conclusion. Sir?
Hi, my name is Ivanyo Colosi. I'm doing conclusions and recommendations for the BOSOM Group. As my associates previously stated, there are many advantages and disadvantages to regulating cell phone usage. Some of the advantages that we've concluded are that there are less distractions. Cell phones tend to leave people looking at their phone instead of the road. Instead of looking at their phone, when they're looking at their phone, they lose their situational awareness. So if somebody were to cut you off, you're less likely to respond. You're less likely to respond if somebody slams on their brakes. So therefore, accidents will increase. So therefore, there are less accidents if cell phones aren't used. And because there are less accidents, there will be lower insurance premiums. Because as Bosky had previously stated, insurance premiums are related to your accident rate and of course tickets. There are also many disadvantages to cell phones. We found that cell phone bans don't reduce accident rates. People tend to attempt to hide their phone and still use them. So therefore, they're still using their phone and still getting in accidents. We also found that banning cell phones is economically costly. It loses about $20 billion in revenue, according to Cato. And also, banning cell phones is physically costly, leaving police more work to do with monitoring traffic when there are plenty of other things that they need to do that are more important. Some of the recommendations that we have are there could be higher fines for people who do use their cell phones in vehicles. Knowing that there's a higher fine, people would be less likely to attempt to sneak using their phone. There could be stricter regulations, maybe some kind of penalty besides a fine. Another thing that could be done is the government could enforce something on the manufacturers where they have to have a forced lockout while the phone is moving between certain speeds, say a preset speed like 20 to 100 miles per hour. Of course, the only thing that would be allowed to be done on the phone would be 911 calls so that phones can still be used in emergencies. Thank you for seeing our presentation.